Hi, Milena. My name is Ellen, and I will be correcting this essay for you today. I'm happy to see that you have begun preparation for IELTS. I understand that your exam is coming up in about a month or so. So let's take a look at the essay you've sent to us and see what you wrote. Prisons are considered to be institutions that help criminals reevaluate their deeds and lead them to become a decent citizen. There are numerous cases when this practice has been proved to be successful, and I agree to a large extent that giving those people a second chance and letting them educate on this topic is the best practice for crime prevention. Okay, this is really lovely. I like it. It's accurate grammatically. You've got very good vocabulary, so no problems. My only concern is that you didn't mention anything about teenagers. So letting them educate teens would have been good. Letting them educate adolescents. I know it might seem like a detail, but it really isn't, because it's not just educate in general, it's educate this specific population. So it's really important that you include it in your essay. Let's continue with your body paragraphs. First of all, criminals can be categorized differently according to the level of the fatality of the crime committed, and the potential to become exemplary citizens is huge. All right, I don't think you mean fatality. I think you mean the severity. So how severe something is, whereas fatality has a different meaning. So let's correct that word and reread the sentence to see if it makes sense now. First of all, criminals can be categorized differently according to the level of the severity of the crime committed, and the potential to become exemplary citizens is huge. Okay, it's fine, although I wouldn't have connected these two ideas together. I think they're rather separate, and I think they would have worked better either linked by, maybe not even linked. I feel like there should be some sort of idea that links them, or something is missing here, because it doesn't seem like the connection is particularly strong. So you've got categories of criminals, and then you've got this potential. So maybe you could have said something like full stop here, and then depending on the crime committed, the potential to become an exemplary citizen is huge. Maybe that would have made more sense, okay? Even those who have committed serious crimes are highly likely to reevaluate their deeds and drastically change their mindset, comma, becoming one of the vivid examples of how a leopard can change its spots. Okay, so a couple of things about this paragraph. Number one, you use the same expression here, reevaluate their deeds and reevaluate their deeds. It's not a huge problem, but the thing is that when I saw it the first time, I thought, oh, what a lovely piece of language there. You know, nice grammar, accurate vocabulary. But because it kind of sticks out, when I saw it again a second time, it felt a little repetitive. It's the kind of thing where if you use a nice piece of grammar, or if you use a nice piece of vocabulary more than once, it kind of loses its effect. So that's the kind of expression you don't want to use too many times. Now, the other thing about this paragraph, it really feels rather underdeveloped. I mean, if you look at it, even just visually, you can see that it's the same length as your introduction. So that should be a signal to you that this is too short. There was more to say, and there was more you should have said. You should have supported some of this with some examples, with some further illustration or explanation of what you mean, okay? So give us an example of somebody who has done this, who has committed a serious crime, but has reevaluated his deeds, or has kind of reassessed his path in life, or something like this. You had a lot of things here that I thought really begged explanation. So why do you tell us the potential to become an exemplary citizen is huge? Why? Okay, why are these people likely to reevaluate their life and change their mindset? Okay, and how does this make them ideal for this job? Great, so you change your mindset. What about changing your mindset makes you suddenly become the ideal person to convince other people not to commit a crime? So all of this, all of these things are things you should have considered, or you should have explored in this paragraph, okay? Maybe not all of them, but some of them. needed a little more development. Okay. This expression here is a little awkward. Maybe teen education would have been better, or teenager education without the S, because it's acting like an adjective. So, regarding teenage education on this topic, there is no one that can picture the actual liability imposed after committing a crime better, you don't need a comma here, than the ones who have felt the burden themselves. The attitude of teenagers towards committing a crime lacks seriousness nowadays due to the unawareness or simply due to childishness. A vivid example can help them realize the outcome of their deeds and be more considerate towards our world and society. This can also positively affect the former criminal's life, as it might give them an opportunity to integrate with the society and start their lives from scratch without that A. Okay, let's read your conclusion. Thus, in my opinion, prisoners shall not be left out of the society and deserve a second chance, which can be useful both for them and for the proper education of future generations. Okay, let's go back here. Again, I thought that you should have had some examples. Okay, it's all very nice. Everything was really good. The vocabulary, the grammar, all this was really well done. But I do feel like you need to provide some tangible examples here. Okay, because what you're doing quite a bit is you're making these generalized statements. And so you, number one, need to develop them a little bit to make it more clear to us what you're talking about. And I also want you to consider hedging. What do I mean by hedging? It's when you use language to make something seem less absolute. Let me show you what I mean. Let's reread this paragraph, or at least parts of it. So here, this is a rather absolute statement. There is no one that can picture the actual liability imposed than the ones who've commit or who've felt the burden themselves. I also don't like this piece of vocabulary here, the liability. That's not really the right word, liability imposed. Let's see. You needed to make this not so absolute. There are few who can picture the damage caused after committing a crime. Okay, so that, just saying that there are few, you're keeping it from being so absolute. Okay? And then, let's see, attitude of teenagers. So here, you should have explored this a little more. You should have said something about it that, you know, having gone through the court process, having gone through jail, having gone through prison, living with other prisoners, and spending months or even years in jail really allows you to have this experience reach your core, okay, and can be life-changing, often for the better. And then here, there wasn't really a link between these ideas. So I thought that maybe if you had done what I'm suggesting and I had another sentence here, you could have had something just to show us that this is now a new idea, like a furthermore, additionally, let's see. And then a vivid example can help them realize the outcome and be more considerate. Okay. So yeah, again, just like an example. So you could say that maybe, so for example, if former drug users or drug dealers spoke to young people about their time, this could potentially make these young people realize the effects of these activities on other people, making them more considerate towards our world and society. Okay, so this kind of thing. Give us some examples. Don't make it so abstract. Okay. Integrate with the society. Okay, that's fine. So, this was okay. This was not entirely relevant here. It's not just about giving them a second chance, but it's about giving them this specific second chance, okay? Is it a detail? Yeah, maybe. But I would have preferred if you had said, that they do this specific thing in some way. So I see a lot of really nice things in your writing, Milena. Your writing is generally very natural. You have a very high level of English, and so that's definitely to your benefit. Um, I would love to see what you're doing on task 1, and I'd also like to see how you're performing on other task 2 tasks as well. So I want to recommend to you, if you enjoyed this feedback today, signing up for some essay correction packages with us. You'll get an email with some information on how you can do that. So I would love to continue working with you, giving you some feedback and some tips on how to improve your writing. It would be helpful to know what score you need so that we can guide you appropriately towards that score. So thanks for sending this in today, and I want to wish you lots and lots of luck.